You can lose 30 pounds in just 6 weeks. How? Well, we're going to go through it now. Are you carrying extra weight and you want to be able to get rid of it? Well, continue to follow my channel. Subscribe now, put a like on this video, and also make sure you comment below. My name is Chris, and when I very first started this weight loss journey, I weighed in an extraordinary 30 stone, 4¼ pounds. Or if you want that in a different way, it's 422 pounds and a quarter at the end. Madness. Just so huge. Now I'm still big, but 6 weeks later, I am ½ pound shy of 30 pounds down from where I was. And I'm going to tell you all about it and how. I've tried all sorts with varying degrees of success, but nothing stuck. And that is what we're looking at today. We want something that's going to stick because we can't carry on the way we are. As I said, starting off at well over 400 pounds. What is my actual end aim goal? Because I need something to work towards, the same as you do, that actually makes this all worthwhile. Well, for me, that is going to be a weight of 13 stone, which if we want to convert that is 182 pounds. So well under the 200 pound figure. So what does this mean that I've got to lose? What it means is I've actually got to lose more than I'm going to weigh. I'm going to have to lose a total of 240¼ pounds to get to my goal. How am I doing this? Well, the clue's in the actual name of the channel. It has been through Mounjaro. Now, if you're new to Mounjaro or you're not sure of it, this is a weekly injection of Mounjaro that you take. You get sent a actual pen that you use to inject yourself once a week, and you get a 4-week supply in said pen. Although some crafty people have been able to get extra little bits out of it to try and help them further along. It's cost saving at the end of the day. And who's going to say no to a little bit of cost saving? Like this set. Crap. So how have I done it? Well, let's be honest. Mounjaro is not going to be the thing that's just going to make you lose weight. What it does is suppresses what we call food noise in your head, which is one of the reasons why you've been gaining the weight that you have. You think about those times where you're not actually hungry, but you think to yourself, oh, I wonder what's in the refrigerator. Oh, I wonder if we've got any chocolate. I wonder if we've got any chips. Have we got any crisps? Have we got any biscuits? Have we got any cookies? Have we got... Just give me something! So what it doesn't do is it doesn't get rid of hunger, but what it does do is it gets rid of the food noise, the unnecessary background white noise that you don't want as you're going about your usual day. So the clever thing about this is what it's doing, it's retraining your brain to be able to recognize proper meal times and actually not taking on unnecessary calories, fats, anything like that, when actually you don't even need it. Your body doesn't need it. No one needs it. You don't need it. There's no one there. So we then think about sort of diets and eating habits, because the diets and the eating habits are what is going to get you to where you need to be. It's helped me where I've got to so far after 6 weeks. Now, one of the things you need to do is you need to be working on portion size. Now, for someone like me, that was always a huge problem. Huge problem, huge portions. Big plate, big portions. So what I have worked on is reducing these portions to a much smaller amount. One of the clever things about Mounjaro is that what it does is slows down your digestion. So it takes longer for you to digest food, which means you feel fuller for longer. And in all fairness, we all know that there's 15 minutes between your stomach saying I'm full and the message reaching your brain, which is why people tend to overeat, because the message just hasn't got there yet. Mine, it used to take 3 years, a postman and 15 messenger pigeons with little things of I'm full written on it before it got to my brain. Wherever it is. Smaller portions and maybe eating slower as well. I think that's important, taking the time to chew your food. You're going to find yourself more satisfied with a smaller amount. And remember, it doesn't matter as much what you eat as long as you're having smaller portions of it. Now, I'm not condoning the fact of being able to eat what you want. You can't just sit there and eat and eat and eat and eat ice cream and chocolate and dogs and strangers and homeless people. You're still going to have to follow some sort of calorie deficit style diet. So we can't be heavily laden with starch, carbohydrates, anything like that. We need to be obviously more sensible, because if you think about it, if you get to the ideal weight and then you start eating everything you used to eat before, because that is what you like, you're just going to be winding back up in the same position, and we don't want that. No. Something else I've been doing, which I think is something I haven't done previously, and it seems to be working quite well at the moment, is I've been watching my fluid intake. I am someone who has a habit of things going from there into my mouth. So if I'm not eating, then I used to replace that with fluid. So teas, drinks, just soft drinks, juices, anything like that. But the problem is that you're then flooding your body with fluids as well. And as we know, fluids weigh. So what we want to do is we still want to make sure we're hydrated, but we're not replacing one habit with another. And so for me, what I've done is I've been actively thinking to myself, unless I'm really thirsty, I don't need a drink. And for me, as someone who gulps like a good un, that has been really difficult. But it's working. Something that I want to touch upon that I brought up earlier, we need to be able to differentiate between different types of hunger. What I refer to as actual hunger and what we're now referring to as food noise. Okay. So what it shouldn't do is it shouldn't ever stop you from feeling hungry. And that's good, because if your body is saying to you you're hungry, that means you need to eat. Food noise, on the other hand, which is what all of us who are overweight have, is not something we should be listening to. And you need to be able to tell the difference between the two. Is your stomach rumbling? Are you literally hungry? Do you have that feeling that not many of us overweight people get, which is actual hunger, because we've never allowed ourselves enough time to get hungry in the first place? Or is it this, I'm bored, I could eat. Oh, I feel a bit sad, I could eat. Oh, I've got to wait around a little while. Oh, I'll make something to eat. Oh, I wonder if there's anything in the fridge, just because I've grown a sort of sexual relationship with the fridge. I'll look inside it. Whatever you're into, you know, I don't know what you're into. You tell me. But we need to recognise between the two, because what we don't also want to do is we don't want to get to a point where we're hungry and we're still not eating. So it's this kind of testing amongst yourself, and I've had to do the same, between, okay, am I actually hungry and I need to eat something, or is this my brain trying to kick back into old habits and go, well, you know, you've got some time left, go have something to eat, you know, just do what you want to do, you know, just go and eat. Yeah, you know, it's crazy. Yeah, it's great. Something else that I've also found has been quite helpful is what I refer to as reducing unnecessary carbs. Now, I haven't reduced carbs from my diet. I'm still having them. I am limiting them, but I am still having them. But what I am limiting from it is the unnecessary carbs. And a really good example of this is, let's say, for example, you wanted to have a healthier, let's say, bolognese, so a spaghetti bolognese, okay? What I've done is I've changed it so that I am just having the bolognese. Do I need the spaghetti? Not particularly. Is it going to actually do much to the meal? No. Am I going to crave it? No. So what I'm doing is, instead, I am literally just having the main component. So I'm having the bolognese. It's not just what you could do it to. It's not only this, but this is one example. So you've therefore reduced any of this extra unnecessary carbs from the spaghetti or rice, whichever you prefer, and you're still getting the main nutrition from the actual meal itself, and you will still feel full. It seems a little bit weird when you're not having something that is usually accompanied by something else, but at the moment, we're having to retrain our brain on so many things that this is just going to be one of many things your brain is just going to have to get used to at the end of the day. So what do you think? Are there things that you have that you think, well, actually, that's a bit of an unnecessary additive that I put into it that I could, you know, get rid of completely? Let me know. Put a comment below. What do you have, or what did you used to have with something that you go, actually, I don't need that anymore. I'll just have the main element of it. Let me know, because I'm interested as well. I'm still going through this journey, and you might help some others with your suggestions. Physical activity and lifestyle changes. Now, for someone who used to consider lifting my arse cheek to have a fart as exercise, this has been something that I've found really difficult. I have never been someone who liked exercise, hence what I look like, but it's something that I recognise the importance of it, if not just for the health side of it, but for mental health as well. And as mental health is something that I have suffered with quite severely, I wanted to now start implementing it. I went a good 5 weeks without doing any form of exercise, and I felt that things were starting to stagnate. So just to boost that along, and even just to give yourself something else to think about and something else to do, you need to be able to work in some form of exercise. For me, for someone who has a lot of problems with pain in my joints and any other things like that, it's going to be not the case of, oh, I know, I'm going to now start do running. Because for me, well, for a start, get lost. Secondly, it's not going to last for very long before I'm in a severe amount of pain. So what you need to do is you need to adapt and find something that you can do and start building up to it. You used to watch 600 Pound Life, right? With Dr. Now. Well, what did they used to get them do? They used to get these huge bed-bound people and get them to get up and start exercise. And they used to give them little things just to move their arms or maybe just the legs a little bit because that suited them for what the situation that they were in. Now, for me, something I can do, which I feel comfortable doing on my own, what I do is dancing, okay? Now, I read this with someone else who lost a lot of weight from dancing. Now, I don't mean ballroom dancing, and I don't mean anything sophisticated. In fact, this would be like the most unsophisticated thing going. In fact, it could turn you off the whole male species whatsoever. But what this is me. I love music. It's something that I've always had as a love of mine since childhood. So I appreciate it by dancing. I have my little earbuds in. I dance to it. I dance to it till I feel like I've had enough. Okay. And that's something that's also measurable because you might say, okay, well, how long did I do this time? Oh, I did 20 minutes. Okay. Well, then tomorrow, let's see how long I did. I did 25 minutes. Okay. Now, I'm not saying this is something that you've got to do for hours, but if it's getting you moving, eventually you're going to help yourself to get to a point where you're going to be more flexible, the ability to be able to lose more weight. So therefore, you're going to be able to then push to do other things. Swimming's okay. It's not for everyone. Also, it's expensive or can be expensive. Not everybody's comfortable being around other people in a swimming pool, especially if you're conscious about yourself. If you've got massive jugs like me, then it's not something you like doing. But there are the benefits to that, especially if you're dealing with something like me, where it's all about pain in joints and such. It alleviates that pain from there because you're floating in water. There's gravity isn't pushing you down, and you're not like for me, where I've got Achilles problems. You're not then hitting your heel into the ground. So there we go. I think it's important for you to just do a little something that even, you think, well, nobody else would consider that as exercise. Well, for you, you're not in the same position as everybody else. So you've got to do what's right for you and just build up for that. That's what I've done. It'll work for you too. And if it don't blame me. I'm not a doctor. Something else I want to add to this lifestyle change element of this video is I think this is important for anyone who has any kind of addiction to anything, whether it's cigarettes, drink, anything, food, I still consider as an addiction as well. It's all about keeping yourself preoccupied. It's quite easy. I recognize that the Manjaro is going to take away the food noise. It won't take every bit of food noise away. But what does is keeping yourself really invested in something that really requires your attention. Now, it's a lot simpler in summer because if you have a garden, you can go out and do things out there. There's housework. Or you could start a new hobby, or you could literally do something that right, I need to keep myself preoccupied. What can I do? Because when your brain is focused on something, any kind of task, it's ignoring the fact that it would usually be sat there saying to you, go get something to eat. And what I've been doing is I've been working heavily in the garden. I've been doing chores. I've been doing other things. And in all fairness, doing these videos help a great deal. So if you haven't started your own channel yet, you look at the YouTube community here with people on Manjaro. People are taking great benefit from it. And I'm sure the watching of videos and the processing and creating their own videos, maybe it takes their mind off things. So I'd recommend you do it too. It doesn't matter if you get 10 subscribers, 1 million subscribers, and that would be nice. But it's something that's going to keep you preoccupied, and it does me. And so combination of all that, I think, has really helped me to remain focused on this because this is not going to be a short-term thing. So in case you're new here, Sunday is my weigh day. And what I do is I do a little clip, which we're going to go to in a second, about my actual weigh-in that I did. And 6 weeks is generally the amount of time that people can get a really good gauge on whether something's working or not. And so let's go have a look. Let's see what happened when I weighed this morning. Right, folks, it's weigh-in time. Shall we see how I've got on? Not sure about this one, but let's find out. Good luck, eh?
2 hours later.
The funny thing is, I do this, and obviously I can't see numbers coming across, so I'm just doing it to blank. Look at that. Right, so that was the latest results. Let's get back to the video. There we go, 29.5 pounds. So yeah, okay, maybe just a little bit short of 30 pounds. Sue me, all right? If you'd have said to me at the very beginning, 6 weeks ago, when I very first put in that jab, which you can go back and look at my old video there because it's still there, when you got to watch me use Mounjaro, you know, for the very first time, setting up the needle, reading the information package, you'd have said to me in 6 weeks' time, you're going to lose just shy of 30 pounds. Is that all right with you? I would have said, thank you very much. Going to be interesting to see how it goes from here, but I feel so much better. I mean, let's be honest. Let's have a look at the things that are so much better for me since I've lost this 30 pounds. Now, believe me, I'm under no impression that I am anywhere near where I need to be. I am still extremely overweight. Not even overweight, obese, morbidly obese. Now, my BMI would be quite a good rugby score. If you don't know what rugby is, I would say American football, but I don't think that. Not quite as good as a basketball score. That'd be even better. What's something in between? Oh, I know, tiddlywinks, whatever. The one thing I do say is that my clothes feel so much better. I feel so much more comfortable in my clothes. I still deal with the pain of arthritis, but it is not as severe as it used to be. Not only that, I feel more confident. I feel more at ease with things. There's not so much anxiety or stress. There's still things that I need to work on. And my God, there's going to be some good things that are going to come out of the back of this, but not just yet. So that's what I'm working towards. But if we want a snapshot into what it's like in the week of somebody who's taking this, you know, I've had different meals, smaller portions, as I've said. What we need to focus on, which has been bandied lots around the community, which I think is such an amazing thing about this, the community. But the one thing that comes up is this idea of non-scale victories, because I think if you're going to limit yourself to just the numbers that are on the scale, you're onto a battering. Because let's be honest, if you didn't have scales, but you knew that you was morbidly obese, how would you work out how you're getting on? Well, you take other things into account when you might think you're doing things easier. You might be able to bend over easier. You might be able to kick your cat up the backside easier. That's tempting. We don't just focus on the scores or in the numbers or the losses as such. We also focus on the non-scale victories. This week, I've been mostly eating bourbon biscuits. What's been happening is that Friday, I went to go to see one of my people that I work with, and it was out into Coventry. And I did notice that when I was there, there was a very enticing looking Indian restaurant there, which was offering Bombay bowls. And going back a number of weeks, I would have sat there and gone, oh yeah, get me some of that. I didn't. I did have a cheeky look at their menu and thought, yes, I would have that. I would have had that. I would have had that. But I was able to, you know, not go for it. I didn't have anything than a cup of tea whilst I was there, and then I drove home. Didn't have anything on the way back. Didn't have anything on the way there. Normally, I would have gone to McDonald's, had this, that, and the other, and then maybe on the way back, I would have picked something up as well. Didn't even occur to me. What a win. I didn't feel self-conscious about myself. Now, this is the one thing about being overweight is that it's so horrible, is this shame and feeling horrendous about yourself. And that's something that I still have, but I want to work on it, but it's so much better than it was. Yesterday, I met up with a good friend of mine, and, you know, again, it could have been an opportunity where I had things that I didn't want to. It was great to meet up with her. She was just amazed to see what I've lost. And, you know, we had a really good time. We should be celebrating the fact that we've got, well, Witch's Brew and...
Normal,
because I am normal. Unlike this one. Give a shout out for your channel.
Oh yeah. What is my channel?
I don't know what your channel is. You know it, you run it.
If you're into true crime, cars, the paranormal, give Cars of the Macabre a listen, a like. You can watch it on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon, all of the good things. And then if you fancy it, come along to our live show on the 5th and 6th of July at Incan Engines Convention at Norfolk Showground. And you can come and say hi and, I don't know, shout expletives at us if
Absolutely.
you fancy it.
Or you could bring a sombrero for a midget. Look at that. So there you go. Come on, here we go.
Ole!
I'm aroused. And then today we've been quite preoccupied. This falls back into the idea of keeping yourself busy, keep yourself preoccupied, and keep yourself moving, because we went to somewhere very special. It's a very exciting day today. It really is. Ali, why is it a very exciting day today?
We're going to the tip.
Going to the tip! So there we go. Off to the tip that we went. And it was, you know, a good opportunity to get productive, because it was getting away old things. And the tip, yeah, we're going to the tip, yeah, we're going to the pause it there, refreshment time. That was delish. Anyway, we're going to the tip, yeah, we're going. You know, I've been having to make up a new wardrobe, hence the plasterer. Sorry, I didn't. I just give you the finger. Oh, shouldn't have said that. I'm doing so, you know, just doing different chores. So what I've also been doing is I've been mowing the grass, something that I don't particularly enjoy doing, honestly, and then doing a fair amount of ironing, which is obviously everybody else's favourite job in the entire world to do that, and not in the way rubbish in the slightest, but necessary. Also need to know how to stay consistent, because I think consistency is key with this if you want to get to a weight loss that is great for you, such as 30 pounds in 6 weeks. Now, this is an interesting one. I think you have to really stick to what you know. So if there is particular food that you know is not particularly unhealthy, that you like, that's something that you could eat all the time, then have it more often. You're going to be more comfortable with a smaller amount of it. You're not going to be looking for other things. I think it's difficult if you're going to keep trying new dishes, because you are mindful that you don't want to be eating too much. So if you start eating a new dish and you think to yourself, what the hell is this? You are just going to think to yourself, well, I've just wasted the opportunity to eat. I'd rather eat something at least I know I like. So I'm not saying have it every day, but, you know, at least for a good period of time, stick to what you know and stick to what you love. That's the consistency. And in all fairness, then you can keep an eye on the portions. You know what you're putting in. If you feel like you're putting too much of something in, you can reel it back. Keep on like that. That's what I do. I think it's a good idea to plan ahead. So we need to be thinking, not necessarily like my ex-wife, who used to plan the entire week, which was mad. So plan for the next day. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that things are out for ready for the next day. So if it's meat, it's defrosted. At the end of the day, I don't want to get to the point where you feel like, what should we have for tea? Oh, I don't know. What have we got out? Oh, we didn't get anything out. Oh, sod it. We'll have lard. Plan ahead. If you know you're going to go out somewhere, maybe make something up along the way. It's one of those things that you just need to be a bit more mindful about, because if you think about it, once Manjaro finishes, you need to have these kind of things in your mind, because you don't want to find yourself where you're continuously then stacking in the calories again. You also have to be realizing when it comes to consistency is this Manjaro is not a quick fix. It's not something that you are going to be able to just, again, as I said earlier, eat whatever you want and then just take the jab and it will be hunky-dory. You're going to have to start realizing that your mindset needs to change, and you have to change that mindset. I've had to. I'm still in the process of doing it, but at least I've made that step. They always say that the hardest, the most important step of any journey is the first one. Well, I've made that first step, and I'm not losing this. I'm going to finish this marathon, and so will you. So the ultimate story of this is, just because if you have one day where things don't go particularly well, it doesn't mean the whole thing is blown. Keep going. If you keep going, you keep plodding along, you keep putting the efforts in, it's all about trial and error. You might realize, actually, maybe I shouldn't have eaten this. Well, in future, if I go there again, I won't have that. I'll have this instead. I tried to do this. This didn't work. Let me just amend it a little bit. Did my weight not come off particularly well this week? What factors could it be that could affect that so that I can change and develop and improve? And that's what you have to do, and you have to keep going. Giving up is not an option. Have you heard that, soldier? You are not giving up. So let's think about final results and key takeaways that I want you to take. It is possible for you to lose 30 pounds in 6 weeks. Okay. You may lose less, you may lose more. I'm sure I'm not the person who's lost the most in 6 weeks. I'm sure there's somebody else who's lost twice, 3 times as much of that potentially. But it doesn't matter because your journey is your own. And if you work on this and you really consider the effects of Mounjaro, because let's be honest, I could have done this without. I've tried, it doesn't work. So one thing you do have to recognize and you have to remember, are you going to have some low moments? You're going to have some times where you're going to be questioning about what you're doing. And that is where you're going to need support. Now, this community on YouTube is very helpful. It's very supportive, but you're also going to need support in your own life. You're going to need those around you to recognize what it is you're doing. And not only that, why. My why is that I didn't want to die before I should do. So therefore, I want to be around for my daughters. I want to make sure that I'm there for everyone and for myself. And at the end of the day, one thing, if I could just take away from this, is do not get disheartened with the figures on the scale. I've mentioned it before, but your best way of determining how well you're doing are your clothes. If clothes that were once very tight or you couldn't even get into them before are suddenly loose or you're able to now fit into them, that tells you more than any number on a scale. People get too fixated with numbers and measurements and figures and stuff. One of the reasons that you do not like being overweight is because how you feel and how you feel in clothing. And what you need to do is realize that that is your gauge. I feel so much better in my clothes. I don't need something on a scale to tell me how well I'm doing. I know how well I'm doing. I can feel it myself. So I think sometimes it's just about a mindset change for you, just to allow you to take these little victories here and there. Maybe you're walking a bit further. Maybe you're pestering people a bit more than you were able to before. And that's a bonus. Let's be honest. Your clothes are what's going to let you know that you are going the right way. I hope you found this video useful. Like I said, comment and subscribe. Like the video if you can. And let me know as well, where are you on your journey? Where are you starting? Where are you going to be aiming for? What weight do you want to go to? Is it going to be a long journey for you, or is it a little hop, skip and a jump? Something that I can't do. And if I did, tidal wave. So thank you ever so much. Remember to watch my other videos, see where this journey has taken me so far. You can go all the way back to the beginning and see where I got to. But thank you ever so much for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Be careful. It's dangerous out there, especially here.